We are out on the hill that I grew up on, actually, looking for winter nettle. And we got 3 of us here, my gals, and we are looking for, I want to see the sprouts of nettle. I want to see if we can propagate some nettle, which I've never tried before. And I also want to see if we can see some aphids overwintering on nettle, which I've read some scientific studies recently that is actually an important ecological role of nettle, which is to basically provide shelter for certain insects, especially aphids, during the wintertime. And you might be thinking like, aphids, why do I care about that? Well, yes, they do eat your kale, which is annoying, but they actually provide really important beneficial, like basically food for insect predators, which we do like. So the beneficial insects eat the aphids, and they do need food in the wintertime too. So, and they need a place to stay. So nettles provide that. The research that I was looking at, I'll link it in the description in case all you nerds out there want to read it. So say action when you're ready. Okay, so nettle can be a little hard to find in the wintertime, but there's 2 things. First of all, I've harvested nettle here in the past, and nettle comes back year after year, so I kind of know it's here. But you can also look for last year's nettle stems, which, like bamboo, have kind of these nodes with opposite branches. And you can actually even see like there's little bumps that are the vestiges of last year's stickers or little stingers. One thing we want to make sure with nettles, because they grow in this really soft, which today it's like super frozen, oh my gosh, it's like crackers, but it grows under this soft leaf duff. When we step on this, it compacts the nettle where the roots like to spread out. So when we're harvesting nettle in the winter, in the spring, whenever we're interacting, we want to step on this as like little as possible and as lightly as possible when we're stepping. So we're basically, there is no signs of sprouts, but the sprouts are going to be found underneath the soil. And I actually kind of checked one out for you guys in a second. So we have right here a tiny little nettle sprout hanging out, and it's much warmer, even just like 1 inch or 2 inches underneath the leaves that are here. And most of these leaves are big leaf maple, and there's also some alder. So those are kind of 2 indicator trees for my area where nettles grow. And these sprouts are like maybe 1 centimeter tall. And so we're gonna kind of dig out a sprout or 2, not for the intention of eating them, but for the intention of just looking at them and learning. And here's a sprout of something else. I think this is Pacific waterleaf. And it's interesting how there are like little potential sprouts all over under here. So even though you can't see life happening above the soil, there is life under the soil. And that's one of the reasons why stepping off trail is actually one of the larger ways that we as humans impact plants in their spaces. Like people talk about like foraging and how that's an issue, but like stepping off trail is actually maybe more of an impact than a lot of foraging is. So some food to chew on there. Wow, there's a bigger nettle sprout over here. Check that out. This guy's like ready to come up. He'll probably be, I would guess, one of the first spring nettles to come up. And this is basically just like a little microclimate that the leaves are creating. And you can see it's kind of light because the sunlight isn't getting under there, obviously, but it is using some food that's stored up in the roots, most likely. And actually, here's the root that is connecting this guy. You can see the little rootlets spreading out in the soil, and the roots are kind of pinkish red, which is kind of fun. So I didn't find any aphids in that particular patch of nettles, but I did find this little beetle who was overwintering on the roots of a nettle plant that I dug up. You might be wondering why these insects matter so much, or matter at all for that matter, as foragers, but I think it's important for us to know that other species and creatures are relying and living and eating on the plants that we forage. And so it's important to consider them when we forage and always leave some for others.
Action.
So I did a little bit more digging, and you can see more nettle rhizomes with more sprouts in varying stages of growth. This is actually a really nice sprout here because it has another root. It's kind of a dead root. But when I'm seeing this is seeming like a really nice thing to propagate. So when we're propagating nettles this time of year, we want a nice chunk of root that can establish itself, and we're going to put this in a pot later. And we're looking for also like little root nodes, little rootlets coming out that will be able to establish itself in the new pot. So I'm definitely liking the look of this guy. The biggest danger in my past experience with propagating plants is keeping them damp. So we're going to want to make sure that this does not dry out. So we're going to put it in some soil, and I'm going to put it outside. I don't have a pot, but I do have a bag. And so we're going to take some of the soil, some of the leaf duff, and we're going to put it in a bag. And we'll show you that in a second. All right, so I'm going to take some of this soil here and put it in my bag where I'm going to be having my nettle friends. And I am actually going to grab, even though the leaf duff is like literally frozen, I'm going to break it up a little bit and put a little of that in there. What I'm hoping that will provide is some of the mycorrhizal fungi or the mushrooms that are in the soil helping nettle. We'll see. I don't know if that's a thing or not. If you're super nerdy about it, do let us know in the comments. Always open to new knowledge. Okay. So this is my nettle root. I'm going to probably dig up a couple more, but we want to, sometimes you have to take it back out and put it in. And as long as it's covered, this is just like a transportation on the way home thing. So it's literally like you can't even see it in there. I just tucked it in like it's tucking in the bed. Okay. And we'll get some more. I'm liking the looks of like this guy over here, I think is promising, because I'm seeing multiple little shoots and then a big root ball. So there's kind of like nexuses of roots that are, oh wow, yeah. And this is also, by the way, how you harvest nettle root, but you can kind of see from this process that harvesting nettle root in large amounts is going to be fairly impactful to the plant. And harvesting roots in general is impactful to plants, right? But nettle is a native plant. We're in this, you know, kind of forest environment. And so I don't recommend harvesting nettle root unless you absolutely need it. But you would take these sections home and spray them with the hose and dry them or make a tincture out of them. And nettle is used for basically prostate inflammation. So it's pretty specific use. And, you know, I don't have a prostate, so it's not very useful for me. There are other uses, but in general, because of the sustainability, I don't harvest a lot of nettle root. But look at that whole nexus here. That's looking really great to me. Cute baby little sprout here. My goodness. It is really amazing how tiny they are in the wintertime. Definitely contextualizes like why you wouldn't want to harvest them for food this time of year. Oh, there's another sprout here too. And I'm actually going to leave all that leaf material in there because it'll help preserve the roots. So if you can dig it up with dirt too, that's also actually really good. So I'm going to dig up some dirt to put around that area. Looks like I could have even used a larger bag for this, but I'll deal with it as soon as I get home. Here's a little critter hole in here. Somebody is making their home, so I'm gonna kind of leave that there. And we have one more root here, which you can kind of see this root. There's not as many sprouts in this nexus, and like there's only this sprout, so it's not as viable for propagation. I am going to take it just as an option. Anytime you're propagating, you want to have multiple possibilities because some of them will die and fail. And so kind of to ensure that one of them survives, I usually do like 3 to 5 in order to ensure that one of them will make it. And sometimes all of them make it. You kind of never know until you get it home. And again, kind of nestling it down in there, tucking it into the soil so it doesn't get shocked. And then whenever you're digging things up in the forest or wherever you are, you don't leave this open, right? We want to put the soil back, partially for people not breaking their ankles, but also partially because like this nettle sprout we saw earlier wants to be tucked back in. It doesn't want to be exposed to the freezing winter air. So we're tucking the soil back in, hoping that everybody will resume their business in there. All right, I have my pots and I have a little bit of just regular potting soil. And I also have my nettles, which it took me a couple days to get to potting, so I have it in here. You don't want to keep it in the warm house, so I kept it kind of outside, made sure it was watered. And they still look green and sprouty, so that's good. And I'm just going to dump the soil in there. And I'm going to do 2 pots because I have several sprouts. And the more, different pots you do, the better chance of success you have with propagation. That's just a general propagation rule. Some are going to fail. And in some of these cases, there's like a root that's dried out on the side. And so I'm going to take my scissors and cut those off, which will just make it a little easier to fit in the pot partially. But if it is alive, try not to cut the live roots off because those can still help propagate. And check out, we have a tiny little nettle sprout there. And we're going to use also some of the dirt that's in the bag. Woo! It's falling out the bottom. Okay. But we're going to use some of that to put around the nettle and some of the leaves as well. And if you have more leaves at your house, especially if it's really cold, like as you can see there's snow here, I'm going to try to insulate these pots with leaves and maybe also even with like this bag and a couple other things because we don't want them to get too cold. They like to be tucked in for the winter. All right, here's my other sprout that I'm going to put in the other pot. It's also looking good. It's a little bit of a different shape, so we're going to kind of put that in there. And I had to bend it a little bit to fit it in there. And I'm going to bury completely the sprouts, not like packed in, but I am going to put stuff over it again so that we insulate it. And looks like everything that was in there got planted. So as you can see, there are no sprouts sticking out, but the sprouts are facing upward in the pot. And where I live isn't nettles like favorite place to live. So to grow them here where it's a little bit drier and colder in the winter, higher elevation, it is going to take a little extra effort on my part. I'm going to have to make sure it gets a really good leaf coverage in the wintertime, and I may have to water it a little bit in the summer when it gets really dry. But for those of you who live in like the more moist parts of the Pacific Northwest, it should kind of just take care of itself once you establish it in your garden. Thanks for watching, and feel free to hit like and subscribe if you like the content. See you later.